Today, I'm going to be creating a realistic scene from the show Invincible out of tiny bits of masking tape. Now, this project took me over 13 hours, and the result is pretty insane, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how I made it step by step. Now, the reason I did this and spent so much time on this project is because I believe that Invincible is the greatest TV show ever made. And while you watch me create this art piece, I'm going to explain to you exactly why I believe that, and why Invincible is the greatest TV show. And for any of you wondering, no, this is not sponsored whatsoever. So step one of creating this art was putting down layers of masking tape on top of sheets of paper. I then got a couple pictures of Omni-Man and Mark and mapped out which parts of their face were lighter and which parts were darker. Then, given that threshold of lighter and darker areas, I copied it down onto the sheets of tape and cut out those respective shapes. Now, to get the actual shapes that form their faces down onto the layers of tape, I used a guide. You could try and freehand sketch it or use the grid method, but I had never done cartoons before, so I thought this would be the easiest way to get the base layer done. I then cut out all these bits of tape and place them down, and then for the next layer, you'll see we'll layer it up a little more in the darker areas. But for now, while you watch me finish step one of this process, I'm going to give you my first point about why I believe Invincible is the best show. The first point is that Invincible uses nostalgic and well-known characters in a creative and unique way. For example, in Invincible, the original Guardians of the Globe, such as Red Rush, correlates to Flash from the Justice League, Martian Man is Martian Manhunter, Omni-Man is pretty much a copy of Superman, and Darkwing is Batman, you get the idea. But these characters are not exactly like their DC counterpart. Omni-Man is not really a good guy like Superman, and they all have a new unique spin even though they look similar to their DC counterparts. These characters are not just thrown in there for the sake of nostalgia, whereas in a movie such as Spider-Man No Way Home, a lot of the characters were kind of put in there just to sort of evoke that nostalgic reaction from the audience. And while I love No Way Home, I do like how Invincible takes these well-known characters and puts sort of a creative spin and changes their personality and character archetypes. Okay, now for step two of the art process, what I had to do again was cut out more little bits of tape and place them on top of the base layer. The point of this is now to start building up the thickness of the tape in certain areas across the image, because at the end of the video, I'm going to shine a light behind the piece, and the thicker areas of tape are going to create more of a shadow, and it's going to create a super realistic effect. But there was a problem that was about to come up in step three that made this project super frustrating. And while you watch me complete step two of this process, I'm going to give you my second reason why I believe Invincible is the best show. This second reason is that the producers actually listen to what the fans have to say. A lot of people in season 1 did not like Amber's character, and there are full videos made on that fact. People claim she was hypocritical, annoying, wasn't understanding of Mark's responsibilities, and got annoyed too often that he couldn't go out on dates with her when he was literally trying to save the world.
Because I'm off saving lives or stopping some bad guys or...
Ugh, I know you're a superhero. I'm not an idiot. Oh my god. I mean, it's cute you think that's enough.
But...
People were frustrated with her character and started drawing comparisons between her and Mary Jane from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, who, let's be honest, is not a super well-liked character. But the creators realized this, and in season 2, they made Amber's character more likable. They made her more understanding of Mark's responsibilities. The producers knew there was something the fans didn't like, so they fixed it. Now, after step 2 was done and the hundreds of tiny bits of tape were cut out and layered on top of each other, it was time for step 3, the upgrade. What this consisted of was I wanted to take the tape and put it in sort of a light box frame. The idea was that I wanted this piece to be portable, so I'd put the piece up against the glass of the frame and then layer LED light strips behind it so you could turn it on and off to pretty much bring the image to life or not. I then also wanted to add some flair to it, so I put sort of blood splatters around the frame, which you'll see in a second. The problem that occurred here in step 3 was that the first strip of LED lights I got didn't really work. And it was strange because when I turned them on to my naked eye, they looked completely fine. But then when I tried to record it with a 60 frames per second camera, they seemed to be flickering. So in order to make this work, I had to find an LED strip of lights that were powered by a battery so the piece would be portable, that also looked okay and didn't flicker on a 60 frames per second camera. So I ordered a whole bunch of light strips, and thankfully I found one that had more LEDs per meter and I guess outputted light faster, which seemed to look okay on a 60 FPS camera. And after some research, I found out that this is because the human eye sees it anywhere between 30 to 60 frames per second. But finding a light strip that worked and looked good on a camera was honestly one of the most frustrating parts about this whole process. And while you watch me finish up this third part of the art piece, let me tell you the third reason why I think Invincible is the greatest show, and that's just the unpredictability of it. A lot of people were starting to think that superhero movies and shows have kind of been done to death, but Invincible was able to break that mold, showing that main and important characters could really die at any moment. This is kind of hard to talk about without spoilers, but there are always super high stakes in the show and no one is really safe. There are many things that happen that completely catch me off guard and are definitely not the norm of what you'd expect from a superhero show, such as when Omni-Man, you know, at the end of the first episode. And one bonus reason is the art and music is just absolutely superb. This art piece alone took me 13 hours, and this is just like one frame of the entire show. Animation takes an extremely long time, and the animation in this show is so well made. And not just art in the sense of animation, but also art in the sense of music. As I was watching the season 2 finale, the music in many of the scenes sort of transformed and created the whole ambiance of the entire scene. And good music really has the power to set the tone and make you feel certain emotions or certain way about what you're seeing. For example, if I play this song in the background while I'm talking, it might sound like I'm talking about something goofy or lighthearted, but then if this music starts playing, I'm not changing the tone of my voice, but it really changes the whole ambiance and feel of the scene. This art piece was honestly pretty difficult, and the whole time I kept saying to myself,
why did you make me do this?
But after 13 hours of work, here's the final result. My plan was to publish this video before the finale of the show, but it ran a little longer than expected. I hope you guys liked the result, and make sure you hit the like button below, rate the art in the comments from 1 to 10, and tell me which characters or shows I should do next. And I hope to see you back here again soon.